Okay, so let me tell you, this is finally done. I'm gonna rivet it. What a pain in the butt. Everyone who had the zip tips said, "Oh, don't worry with the tail light, Ryan. You've got the zip tips. It's a pain. You don't need to do it." I was like, how hard could it be to run a light through a fairing and into the airplane? Oh my God. That's crazy. I'll edit the clip in right now, but the power just went out when I started the video. There's a thunderstorm here in Texas. So anyways, this is just a little insert video while I'm preparing my tail light, so I could mount it in the rudder and be done. I'm going to do a whole video, if I haven't already, on routing the wire. It's really a pain in the butt. But this video, this little insert, is about these guys. These are called solder sleeves. Let me grab one for you and show you what they look like. So here's a big one. So they're really cool. They have a metal ring with solder inside, flux, heat shrink, and hot glue. And so what you do is you literally just quickly twist your wires together, slip these over, and then use your heat gun. No need for soldering anymore. And you heat it up, and then what happens is the hot glue and the heat tube kind of shrink at the same time and hold everything together. And then when it gets hotter, you'll start to see the solder run. And when the solder runs, you're done. And then this metal ring holds the bond together with some strength. And then you've got hot glue, which also holds your wire bundle together. And it also creates a waterproof connection. So these are just awesome. You don't have to, solder and heat shrink and use this whole thing. You can literally just hold it in your hand. And sorry, it's a mess. I was doing some epoxy work. But I just wanted to quickly show you solder sleeves. They're awesome. So I'm going to tell you what I ended up doing. I'm sure someone out there is going to say, you did it wrong, you're going to crash, you're going to die. But basically, this is after the service bulletin. Before the service bulletin, you see that black line. This horizontal bar was up here. And so then the instructions wanted me to drill a hole there. Well, drilling the hole there is fine, but then you have to cut a channel, which the instructions don't tell you. You have to cut a channel in here, because if you just drill a hole out, it's going to chafe, so then you have to cut a channel in here. Now, that's not the worst thing in the world. Some people cut a channel in here, which I like more, but then your hole has to be down here. Well, the problem with your hole down there is, for those of you who've built an empennage, you'll know there's a really thick metal bar running through there for your tie down, and then there's two really thick L brackets. So then you're drilling through a main structure support. Up here, there's nothing, but I didn't really want to put a channel in the fairing, which didn't really matter. So what I found an opening. There's a small area about a 1/2 inch wide between the top of this thick metal bar for the tie down, and then there's another horizontal crossbar, an L bracket right here, and I found a hole right there from the inside. And then I was able to get it to line up like this. So I'll show you pictures of how I routed all the wires in there. And then I use this friction tape, and I use these brackets. You can get them on Amazon, but Vans also sells them. I'll put a picture of them up there. And then I test fitted all this last night. Basically, this is gonna sit right here, kind of like that. It's not gonna touch anything, and this hole, now I'm gonna put more shrink wrap and then to make sure, but I've smoothed out that hole, and then this just fits right through the hole in the fuselage. Like I talked about, I'm using D-sub connectors here, and I'll use D-sub connectors on the other side, and then I'll just shrink wrap them to hold them together. But that way this can go in and out and be removable. And I'm gonna rivet this up, and this rudder is finally done. So just in case anyone's curious, this is the light I'm using from Avio. And there was quite a bit of sanding and trimming and Bondo work that you have to do on these fairings. And then you install this part that you order from Vans, you rivet it and epoxy it in, you mix the epoxy with some flock, I think it's called. It's like a cotton powder. And then I had to sand it even more, and then sand it even more. And then I eventually prime it. I'll show you in a video coming up. So right here, you're gonna see now, again, I showed this in a previous video, but I epoxy these washers. I found the perfect washers at Aircraft Spruce that are really big washers. They're thin, but they're bigger, and they have that small hole, or the 1/8 inch hole for the rivet. But again, here is the rear part when it's all kind of primed, and like I've got one coat of primer on there. It's not fully done. And then this is what it looks like. Sanded, primed, sanded, and primed again. And it looks good. All right, so I'm really happy with how this all came out. It looks great. We're gonna go ahead and test it right now. So I've just got some D-sub pins, because I'll take a picture, but they have to route through a pretty small hole in the vertical stabilizer. I'll put the picture up right now. So I didn't put a connector on there. I just am using, sorry, my eyes are looking in a really creepy way. I'm just using female and male D-sub pins so it can slip through the hole, and then I can just put them together and heat shrink them from the inside. So to test this now, before I install this on the plane, I've got red going to red. This is just a little 12-volt power supply that I've had for years. So now, if we put black on there, that works. Then there's two more wires. There's yellow and blue. Blue is the signal wire. So blue just connects to, it's not the signal wire, it's a syncing wire. It connects to the wingtip, so the strobe flashes at the same time. And then now, if I touch the yellow wire with the positive, we should get our strobe, which we do. So this works. Top fairing, bottom fairing, light. And then we're on to the horizontal stabilizer fairings and the top of the vertical stabilizer fairing, which suck because you have to build them up with some fiberglass. No big deal. I got the fiberglass. I got, I think, 6 ounce and 9 ounce from Aircraft Spruce. They had great prices on fiberglass, better than Amazon. And then I'm giving this Total Boat epoxy a try. It's about 30 to 40% less than West Systems. The reviews on it are great. What I've used so far with some flocks to kind of thicken it up and make it stronger has been phenomenal. Super easy to work with. It was, like I said, about 30 to 40% less than West Systems, and it's been great. So I'm looking forward to using this stuff to fiberglass up the wingtips, and then that'll be done, and it's time to close up the wings.